You had quite a tweet. How was Kimmel?
Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, which now they're saying they're not going to air it, which I'm like, just fucking air it. Air it as a bomb.
I said to him afterwards, I'm sure this is in your head. You're your own worst critic. It's pretty good. If Kimmel's coming back to you, be like, we're not airing this.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it's Jimmy Kimmel. I think it's like they saw the tweet. But the thing is like I tweeted that out. And it's like, it's my most, Twitter lets you know, it's my most favorited retweeted tweet ever. Mm-hmm. So they're like, I'm like, what? Like, this is going to get at least my fans to watch it. Yeah. Like, why not? And they're saying they're probably not. But yeah, here's what happened. So when you do a late night set, David Letterman, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, you do it at their studio, okay? And then you'll do it at the end of the show. So there have been a whole comedy show, guests and monologues and all that. And then the producer will come out and say, and the warm-up comic would say, hey, we got a guy who's going to do 5 minutes, like give him all your attention, give him all your energy, blah, blah, blah. And then, the Jimmy Kimmel or whomever the hostess will say, what you'll see on TV, the audience will see, and, all the way from New York City, please welcome Chris Distefano. And then you do the set in the room is fucking warm. This situation, it was going to be on Jimmy Kimmel's show, which he does out of Los Angeles, but the set is filmed from his comedy club in Las Vegas. Oh. So that's strike one. Strike two, they had a warm-up comic do about 2.5 minutes, like not enough time, and then his sister does comedy. His sister is a comedian, and really nice woman. I just didn't know. It's a job to be a professional warm-up comic is like a specific job.
How to do it,
usually, the professional warm-up comics aren't as good as stand-up as they are at warming up a crowd because it's more than jokes. You got to play games with them and throw a fucking beach ball around and tickle people and it's a whole game that you play, but it works because the crowd's like in a great mood and then they just laugh at the 5 minutes of jokes. So I go up there. The room is, first of all, the first warm-up comic, it was just like it was 300 people. That's just not conducive. Then the other comic goes up doing jokes about, I don't fucking know, or pussy or something. I don't fucking know what the jokes are about. They were jokes about something. I was kind of listening, not listening. I'm sure she was fine, but I just, you're not really paying attention. But I do know nobody was laughing. That's what I know. So I go out there and you can just tell the room. It's like one of those things when you walk out to a hot room, they're clapping. And the clapping doesn't stop until you get to like the microphone or even you have to be like, stop it. Like I walk out and like I'm not even at the mic and they're just like
done. Yeah.
Done. Just like just my dad's like,
woo. And they're here for you though, or for they're here the night of
they're
comics?
There for a night of comedy. I don't even think that they know that it's for late night.
Right.
I think that they think that they're just going to this comedy club.
Right.
They got free tickets because it's a TV taping, but I don't think they necessarily know. I don't know how in depth it was explained.
Right.
So I go up first. I was one of 4 comics who was going to do their set. By the time the 4th comic went on, the crowd was great. I heard that comic fucking smashed. But I go up and it's like such a cold room. And I was doing, and the reason why I felt confident tweeting out like I fucking bombed, and it's because I have so much stuff on the internet of my work. I just done 2 podcasts before that, The Fighter and the Kid and Theo Von's This Past Weekend podcast, which combined had already had like over 2 million views
doing good work
and downloads. I'm like, that's the real work in 2020. Like the Kimmel Show doesn't get that many views. Not his fault. It's just what it is in America now. So I already felt like I'm confident. I did the work, where I needed to shine. I did okay.
Yeah.
And so I go out there, and the first joke that usually gets a lot of laughs just kind of bombs. And I was just like, oh boy, I could feel that this is not going to go well. Then the second one gets a full 0. So then, like a full 0. So I was like, wowsies. So then the third one I was telling, and then in the middle of it, I just stopped and I was like, you guys fucking suck. I said that on late night television. I was like, you guys fucking suck. And then just looked around and then went right back into my joke. So,
you want to earn money every time you spend money? Download the Upside app for free right now and earn cash back on everyday expenses. Get 5 cents per gallon of gas, get 30% on groceries, and up to 45% at restaurants. Download Upside today.
And then just continued to gradually get worse until the last one, because you have to do a 5-minute, another thing, you have to do your 5-minute approved set. So if that was a normal comedy club, if that wasn't a
switch gears,
I would have just done crowd work, been made fun, went to dirtier jokes or jokes that really wake people up. But you can't do that when you get that 5-minute set is vetted. So I had to come out and very inorganically be like, what America's problem is. Where like I wouldn't say that if I would come out and be like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? I would just start yelling and then I would do my set.
Right.
but I couldn't do that this time. So I felt like my hands were tied. So then the last joke I did was just about getting blowjobs, which is not TV friendly or approved. But I was like, oh, at least this is like my closer that I close in clubs with. This will get a laugh, and then that bombed. so even with my closer that I do in regular comedy shows, just a fucking settle. And I just walked out, and the producer was like, oh, don't worry, we'll pump laughs into it. And I said, if you're gonna air that thing, I need you to air it as the fucking bomb. I was like, because I'm gonna tweet out my experience. He was like, no, don't do that. That's not necessary. I was like, the tweet's coming.
Set, brother.
I was like, I can't wait to fucking get out of here and send this fucking tweet. And then I literally, as soon as I got in the car to go to the airport, I fucking opened up Twitter and I just started throwing it. And then I got so much support, so many comedians calling me, like dying laughing or sending me messages. But because there really isn't anything funnier, I think, to a comedian than the two things that make comedians like fucking gut laugh is when a good comedian, like really bombs, like what happened, like really eats it and is trying to get out of it and they can't. It's so funny, or farts. One of those two.
Does that happen?
You can ask like the most brilliant comedians. Nothing is funnier than a fart. It's just like a ripping a nice fart. It's like that thing that Barstool posted with that fart hits third gear. Like that. I was crying. My daughter was in a swimming class. Whereas parents, you're supposed to be very vigilant because they're like, hey, listen, we're not in the pool, but like as a parent, keep an eye on your kid. And I literally am like crying, laughing at that fart hitting third gear, and my daughter's fucking swimmies fell off, and she's like laughing like that, and I'm like, oh shit, and then I'm like crying, and I bet the instructor thought I was crying because I was nervous, but I was fucking laughing at the third gear fart.
I feel like part of that though, I don't think you ever want to blame the crowd, right? But like, you're a fucking good comic. You kill with that material, and now all of a sudden it's not working. Maybe you didn't deliver it the same way. Maybe this, maybe that. But the majority is like that crowd for that night, for whatever reason, is the problem, not you, right?
Yeah, I think. Listen, it's always the comedian's fault. At times, yes, but the crowd.
I know that's what you guys say because like it's almost like that's part of the job or whatever. But you're delivering the same jokes that kill every other time.
The only reason why I say it was my fault, those jokes they were worked out, crafted jokes that have done well in the past. That's why they got approved to go on the show. The reason why I'm saying it is still my fault is because all those things that I said, I'm saying, oh, I couldn't do crowd. I could have done it. I actually could have done it and then just blown past the line and been like, hey, I got them to the place I needed to then do my 5 minutes. But because I kind of, in a way, pussied out. I don't want to pussied out, but like I want to be like professional.
Following the rules, basically.
Follow the rules where like, some more renegade guys would be like, no, fuck that. I'm not going to allow myself to go on television if it's not the crowd I want. They would have. So that's why I say like it kind of is my fault. What wasn't my fault though is like the way that's set up is just like not conducive to 5 minute. Laughter, also, stand-up comedy on a late night show is not really what 2020 is about. It's not like I can come on here or go on those podcasts I mentioned and give you an hour to 2 hour version of myself that'll make somebody say, oh, I want to buy tickets to go see this person, as opposed to some shiny business card 5 minute bullshit set where they're like, hey, don't say your daughter's Puerto Rican. I'm like, but she has a tattoo on her tit and she's 4. She is Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? I'm like, so like why? Like they'll tell you that. They'll be like, oh, we don't know if we want you to. We could do this stuff about your daughter, but just don't even mention her race. I'm like, she's proud. Her mother's a proud Puerto Rican. Like, what are you talking about?
You can't say that your daughter's Puerto Rican?
No, Jimmy Kimmel was okay with it, but other late night sets have said the requests they make you do. Like when you see a comedian on late night, you don't understand. Like they don't want to do that set. No, that's not the real set. Like, don't ever judge a comedian on that because it's like they're putting you in this little fucking box.
I think people know that.
That's crazy.
But that's why they buy on the podcast. That's why like every time you guys say come on, I'm like yes, because people buy tickets to my shit after I make appearances here because they're like oh I at least I get an honest chance to prove myself. 5 minute late night said you don't get a chance.
Right. It's crazy. I was reading the book Robin, which is about like Robin Williams and like his come up, and he got Mork and Mindy after 15 minutes on Johnny Carson. And like, granted, he was working clubs too and stuff like that, but like it was get 15 minutes on Johnny Carson, get your hard 15 or whatever it was, hard 5, whatever they call it, and then like that crushed, and they're like, okay, we're gonna put him on the network show now.
That's how Ray Romano.
Insane.
That's how Ray Romano got Everybody Loves Raymond. David Letterman loved him. He crushed. He did his 5. He did a couple of sets on Letterman, but Letterman's like, "Hey, time to make you a star now." That's just how it worked. Now that's very, very infrequently happens where 5 minutes gets you anything. Right. Now it's like. Now it used to be, the way it used to work is, big managers would see a talent, see a guy maybe in his early 20s, mid 20s, or even some older guys, but just see a talent and say, I'm going to build this. Yeah. You and I are going to build this together. We're going to have a sitcom, movies, all that. Now it's reversed. Now I as the artist have to build everything. And then at the end, somebody attaches themselves to me and says, here, I could get you this last little run.